What's up, everybody? Welcome to Claiming Christianity. My name is Steve. Today we're going to be doing a full review of this NKJV, New King James Version, large print, thin line Bible. This is the Maclaren series. These are beautiful Bibles, and look, words of Christ in blue. I hope you'll stay tuned for the whole review. Without further ado, let's jump over to the table. So let's take a look at this beautiful Bible. So this is an NKJV large print thin line. So the fact that it's large print is going to make it a little bigger than a normal thin line. But you all should kind of know that and get that from watching these Bible reviews. Here's a few of the features that we're going to take a look at on the inside. And let's get the ISBN in there for you. And it does say $119. Chances are you're going to be able to find that for less than $119. Very rarely have I had to pay the price on the box because Amazon has deals, christianbook.com has deals. So you got to just know that. And it does come in this nice clamshell box. But let's get the box out of the way. We'll take a quick measurement since this is a thin line, but I do want you to see that it's a little bit bigger than a standard thin line. So you got about almost 10 inches. It's about 9 3/4 by 6 3/4, and it's 1.5 inches thick. So while this is labeled as a thin line, in my opinion, I would put it more in just the standard size Bible category as far as size and weight. But the reason that is, I gave you a sneak peek there. The reason that is because it's large print. It's a nice kind of big 10-point font that we'll see, and you can only make it so small when you got big font. So let's take a look at the binding here at the spine, and you're gonna get 5 raised hubs. I like raised hubs. These Maclaren Bibles all have raised hubs, and Thomas Nelson has been crushing it as far as the product that they're putting out these days. And they keep it simple, and I like simple, beautifully simple, right? You hear that phrase a lot here. Holy Bible, NKJV by Thomas Nelson. And I will mention that this is black, genuine leather. Okay, so it is floppy. It's genuine leather. It's going to last a long time. And I mentioned that before we get to the spine because this little section in here, Bibles that have nicer covers, such as genuine leather, have this little page. This is how the Bible is connected to the cover, right? So don't separate that. If you see that, that's there for a reason. But we're going to take a look at this. Look, this is the most kind of pretty art gilting I've ever seen. It's nice. It just is really pretty. So now chances are, if you're familiar with Bibles, the longer you use this, sometimes the page edges are going to get beat up. I actually like that. It shows that the Bible's being used and being loved. But look how pretty of a job they did. Nice job, Thomas Nelson. And you get 2 Bible ribbons here. So you get black and blue. These are really nice satin ribbons, double-sided, angle cut, or tailed, if you will, if you're in the decorating world. And they're nice and long, plenty of space there on the corner to use, and nice and fat. And I appreciate that. All right, the moment we've all been waiting for, let's take a look on the inside. So you get a really nice presentation page. And I always encourage you, I'm going to say it on every video I ever do, to fill these out. You never know who's going to have your Bible in 100 years from now. So make sure you fill those out. And then if you feel so inclined, write something about your family back here too. I have a lot of Bibles that are like 100 years old, actually older than that I would have liked more information on. So I try to do that in the Bibles that I use regularly. You have your title pages and your publisher pages, and then here's the legal information. Try to show that to you guys. For some of you might be interested in some of that information. Gives you a little bit of information. The text inside, there's always a little bit of note. There's always a note in the very back. Is the 2K Denmark NKJV comfort print, and I like that. So you're going to get a little preface to the translation here. This is a translation, a preface to the New King James Version, not to the whole Bible. This just tells you the format and how kind of a brief explanation of how they translated it. So that's important to read through at least one time. And then you get right into the text. Now, you can see already, and I'm super excited about this, that you can see these blue highlights I love this. I like when they use blue in general. I like when they color the chapter numbers and the chapter headings different color than the rest, just because it makes it stand out. And for those of you who know me, you know I'm colorblind. So it's actually really helpful for me. Before we get into more of that blue, let's take a look at what you're going to get on the page. So this is dual column paragraph format as opposed to verse by verse. So this is dual column paragraph format. This is a nice big 10-point font. Let's raise it up just a little bit for you. And you guys can take a look at that. It's obviously it's not going to be the exact right font on your screen that you're watching, probably on your iPhone. But you can get a good sense of the layout and the fact that they don't try to squish too many words into a line. There's plenty of space between the sentences, and there's plenty of space between the words. It makes it very easily readable. Okay. Another thing that they do is line matching. Let me flip open to another section here. Line matching is really super helpful. You guys know I like my Isaiah and Jeremiah because you can see a little bit of the ghosting. You're always going to get some ghosting, okay? And the ghosting would be this section right here. Those are the words that are on the back side of this page showing through. But a line matched Bible, you might be able to tell the lines on the back are exactly matched up with the lines on the front, and that makes the spaces still spaces and not all kind of jumbled up with ghosting. That's a really nice feature. It makes your Bible much more easily readable and at least pleasant to the eyes. And that's a really nice feature that they're including these days in Bibles. I always like to kind of pull out this section here in Isaiah, Jeremiah, you guys know, because it gives you a regular layout and the layout of the poetry setting, just so you get a good idea of what both look like right next to each other. Poetry is almost always different. I do have some Bibles where it's not different, but it's almost always different. And poetry is almost always verse by verse, something I mentioned a little bit earlier. If you're not familiar with verse by verse, at least you can get an idea of what that looks like, because every single verse starts on its own line. It does make the Bible a little bit thicker because of the nature of verse by verse. But that's what I prefer these days. But this is so nicely laid out that it's very easy to read. Now, as we flip open, you can continue to see these words of blue, and I have a little special extra feature for you. You get your references here on the bottom. So this whole bottom suite right here, these are all your cross references and your footnotes. And I'll lift it up so you can see it a little bit better. See the chapter numbers there on the bottom as it focuses. Those are also in blue. It just makes it really easy to find, really easy to use. Those little extra touches to me make it really nice. Now you'll notice that there's not a whole lot of room in the margins and the gutters to write. So you get, if I was being probably a half an inch. So if you like to write tons and tons, this might not be the exact right tool for you. But there's plenty of room to underline, and it has one of my favorite features on any Bible that I've ever owned, and I only own 2 Bibles with this feature, and this is it right here. What a beauty. So if you can't see that coming through super clear in the video, the words of Christ are in blue. Now, I know there's lots of folks who kind of have a problem with red letter text or the words of Christ being in a different color, right? But I don't mind it either way. You guys know I have trouble with red sometimes. And if the red is not the exact right red color, I can't see it anyway. And I know there's a lot of you out there who have trouble like that. Well, with the blue letter text edition, I don't have that problem. It's so nice. It pops right off the page. Colorblind people shouldn't have a problem with it. And I will say this, because this came up as we're talking about red letter text versus black letter text in a couple of the last Bible reviews. No, the red letters, the red words are not more important than the black letters and the black words. It is all God breathed, but I just find it nice. Again, I don't care either way, but I find it nice just to know and just to have it sitting there. If you have some comments or commentary on that, I would love to hear what your opinion is. Leave it down in the comments. All right, so now again, this is beautifully simple. It's a pretty basic layout because it's just a reference Bible. There's not a whole lot of extras like a study Bible would have But what you do get is a little concordance in the back here, also with the blue and black layout. And these concordances in the back are handy if you're on the go. I use an exhaustive concordance at home, but say you're in a Bible study and want to help yourself understand kind of a word a little bit better, you can look it up in a few different places in a few different verses, but it's not exhaustive, just so you're aware of that. And then this is the typeface note from 2K Denmark. This is a super dorky thing to say, but this is the NKJV comfort print is my favorite font. I just like it. It's whatever it is, something about the font that is just pleasant to my eyes. And you all know I have graduated to about a 10 to 10.5 point font. So we have some maps here in the back. And I've said this on the last handful of reviews. I say this on every reviews. I'm really appreciative to these makers, Thomas Nelson, for changing up the way they do maps. When I was a kid, I could barely read anything. The colors weren't great. You couldn't read the names of the towns and the places. And they've changed it. The paper is not super glossy, so it's not too like shiny when you're flipping the pages over, and it just is laid out really nicely. I can see everything. I can see the trails. I can see the parts of the map that I need to be able to see. And for guys and girls like me that are visual learners, that is super helpful. And that's it. Again, beautifully simple. This Maclaren series is fantastic. I do have a few other reviews on Maclaren series Bibles. If you want to check those out, I'll try to drop a link down in the description. But all different sizes. I have a compact Maclaren series, right? So, and they're all really well made and nice Bibles. This is the first one that I have that the words of Christ are in blue. And again, I'm excited. The other Bible is not a Thomas Nelson Bible. It's a Bible put out by Humble Lamb. Also the NKJV text. But I really like that blue letter text. As always, if you have any questions, if you've come up with anything that I didn't cover and you're interested, please let me know down in the comments. I will do my best to answer it with the information that I have. Hey, thank you guys for hanging in there with me today. I hope that this review has been helpful and helped show you another tool or resource that you might be able to include in your day-to-day life that is a Bible that you'll be able to use and enjoy for a long, long time. Hey, I mentioned that I've done a couple other reviews. I'll leave the links to the other Maclaren series Bibles down in the description just in case you're interested in those to take a look at those. I want to say a special thanks for those of you who guys have donated to this channel, to this ministry on PayPal or via Patreon. Thanks so much for being a part of this ministry and helping us and partnering with us to continue putting out content just like this. Don't forget, be the Christians you claim to be.